back at ShowStoppers here at the Wynn Hotel and Casino outside of the Las Vegas Convention Center and CES. This is a really great show. You're watching BeTerrific's continuing live coverage of CES 2015. This is our ShowStoppers coverage. I'm Michael Artsis, and Adam was right to send me to break because we've got a very special guest who is got a very interesting setup here, and so I wanted to, set this up so we could do this right, and I'm glad we did. So here we go. This is Gene. Gene, how are you?
Good. Could be better.
I'm sorry, you said good, you could be better?
Couldn't be better.
Couldn't be better. Excellent. That's great. That's what I thought. So you're with ReWalk Robotics, and this is an exoskeleton, and I am excited about this. Take a step over this way if you wouldn't mind. Now I feel like I've put you out a little, but I'm sorry about that. But I'm glad. Now we're front and center on the camera. That makes good sense. So tell me your story. First of all, are you a veteran?
Yes.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough. When I go through airports and I see soldiers, the best thing I ever get to see in my life is the soldiers coming home and getting welcomed by their families. My grandfather was in World War II, 16th Camera Combat Unit. You protect our freedom. What you do, I could never do, and I appreciate it more than you will ever know.
It's an honor. It's an honor.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I see soldiers, and I go up and I say thank you, and that's it. I don't want to bother them. I just walk by and I say thank you.
No, at least for me, it's a good feeling to have people thank you. If for the very least to say thanks and acknowledge, it's a good feeling.
It's important. I know that there are a lot of people out there that don't believe in wars and all that stuff, but our soldiers go out there. They don't think twice about it, and all they're doing is defending our freedom. They're not making the decisions. They're just going out and following orders, and it's so commendable. So, again, I just want to say thank you. I'm just honored to be in your presence.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that.
So, this I'm excited about. I don't know your story, but I'm imagining that you were paralyzed, or are paralyzed,
Yeah.
and this gives you the ability to walk again.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does. It gives me the ability to walk.
So tell me your story.
I got hurt after I came out the service. I was working and I fell off a ladder, a 20-foot ladder, and the ladder landed one way and I landed across the ladder. So serious bone structural damage, as they call it, to the spine. Nerve damage. Can't feel my legs. And that was it. It was 2001. That was the news they gave me, and you move forward. And in 2013, I come across this thing. And, through all that time, you dream of someday walking, and you put this on and you're dreaming while you're awake now. That's the way it feels.
It's pretty amazing. I can't even imagine what it's like and what it was like for you. I know that losing the ability to walk is taking your freedom away.
Yeah, it's devastating. You made a promise to my wife to support her and everything, and then all of a sudden I can't work.
That's got to be the hardest thing. I mean, I know that we're in 2014 and things are a little different, but as a man, you feel like you have to support your wife and you feel like a failure if you can't do it.
Absolutely. And ironically, my son was born January of that same year.
Wow.
So he was about 8 months when this happened to me, and I had big dreams and big hopes and teaching him how to play this and play that. So yeah, it was kind of devastating. But I finally, came to terms with it.
And I imagine, so you're paralyzed from the waist down?
Yeah, a little higher in the waist.
And you were, I imagine, in a wheelchair, but you could operate the wheelchair?
Yeah, I have a manual wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's parked over there. My name is Claire. And this is Bones. That's what I call this.
So how did you hook up with ReWalk? First of all, in talking with Dave Leone before CES, he said that they were trying to get you guys out here, and that they wanted you guys here. And I thought, wow, I hope they get out here because it's really important.
Yeah,
I had no idea you'd be a veteran, and it's I've wanted to see an exoskeleton for so long. And when you see it in person, I know emotionally what you go through. Like, I understand it. I've never experienced it, but I understand it. And so to see you standing here and walking, it's like unbelievable.
Thank you. As far as how I came across this, I was at the Bronx VA for something that had nothing to do. I didn't even know this thing exists. It was time for an annual physical, and they found some new machine, some new way to do the lung study, because they like to find out your pulmonary function if they deteriorate, with your paralysis. So a young lady from the 7th floor, the research floor, which nobody likes to go to, tells me if I want to try that way of that part of the physical, I would like to do it in their research center. I agreed. When we went through the doors, it said spinal cord research. So when I went to the glass door, on my left, in my peripheral vision, I saw a robot with sneakers. Now, spinal cord injuries, robot with sneakers. So I asked her, what's that? She briefly told me, her name is Stephanie Pena. She briefly told me, and I told her, if you want to do the lung study, you're going to have to tell me what that is and who I can talk to about it, or else there's not going to be no lung study.
You're a smart man.
Yeah. So needless to say, I got it my way. I spoke to Dr. Ann Spungen, and after a week or two of pleading to her to let me be a part of it, finally got my wish. Persistence.
Unbelievable. I'm just blown away. And how long did it take for you to be able to walk the way you are today?
It took me a little over 2 weeks. What I tell people is they got to understand, I was injured in 2001. I had almost 13 years to absorb my trauma. So I was a little cavalier with it. I wasn't really afraid if I fell or whatever. Not that you're trying to fall, but I wasn't worrying about that. I just wanted to walk. To oppose, you have people that just got injured, still have the trauma fresh in their mind. They're more reluctant.
Sure.
But at the end, once you get past that threshold, you find your balance, we're all walking the same.
What goes into this? Walk me through it. And then I'll talk to Larry a little bit. Larry's from ReWalk Robotics, and I love what you guys are doing, so we definitely need to talk. But, Gene, walk me through this.
Well, I press the button. It has a walking thing there. I press it. The thing has a tilt sensor, and it senses when I tilt to initiate a step. And every time I do that, it just keeps walking till I stop.
How far can you walk in it?
We did a mile race, a generosity race. They've had other rewalkers that he can tell you more about. They've done marathons, 10K walks.
That is unbelievable. And so now, how old is your son now? He's let's see, hold on. He's I was gonna say he's 13.
He'd be 14 on the 14th for this year.
And you can walk with him.
Yeah.
Which you never thought you would ever do.
I have walked with him. I'm not the type of guy that gets emotional. But since this, I have had my emotional moments. When I first got up and looked at the engineer eye to eye, I teared up. When I took a step, when I saw the cars outside from this angle. But most of all, my son and my wife, they really bring it out of me. My son first, I bring him first, and then my wife, when I looked at her, I remembered how I met her, the height I met her. And so did she. So we both went through that emotional moment together. And to this day, she has her moments when she sees me in this.
Wow, it's amazing. Do you wear it every day?
Well, at the VA, I say I'm there like 3 or 4 times a week because now that I've done their study and their training, I go in there and the trade-off is I'll help mentor some of the people behind me that are doing it, and I get to put it on and walk around. If not, then I'm with Larry and ReWalk Robotics and doing demonstrations. My motivation right now is to get it out there for others in my situation to enjoy what I'm enjoying. And that's my focus right now with this.
Congratulations, this is just phenomenal. Larry, let's talk to you a little bit. I'm not going to chase Gene away. I have more questions for him. I just got to make sure you're on camera. Adam's going to tilt the camera a little. We're rolling off one camera here for this to make sure that this works out well. Larry, this is just remarkable. I think I don't have to tell you that. You know that.
Well, this has gone from something in science fiction, I think, to many people, to where you can see this walking down the streets of New York, Los Angeles, Chicago. It is an everyday life thing now. We got FDA clearance, so this is the first device approved. You can use it at home in everyday life. And since June of this year, we now have about 40 Americans that are using this in everyday life. And we have many people in Europe and starting in Asia.
What's the cost for this?
The device is $70,600. And I think an important measurement of this is the value it gives.
I was going to say, we have a friend who has 2 prosthetics. It's $150,000 a leg.
Yep.
$70,000 is a bargain to give him both legs and the ability to walk, and it's terrific. And $150,000 a leg technically is a bargain. You can't put a price on this. I'm just asking because we need to know, because the public needs to know, because they need to know how they have to raise money for people like Gene to get him in stuff like this, or insurance companies. Insurance companies don't always pay for all this stuff. So that's terrific. I think that's a really reasonable price. Well, I know it sounds crazy. It sounds like a lot. It's not, though, for what you're doing.
Well, there's an important measurement. There's a phrase that we use that actually comes from Gene. It's called more than walking. What this does to the human body relative to the change in its metabolism and what they need for medications, it gets reduced. Complications that they have get reduced. This actually will save money for the healthcare system, we believe, over the horizon of its use.
Well, and is there something you can now do that you couldn't do before as far as working? Could you come and work a trade show booth, or could you be a ticket taker somewhere or something? Are there things that you could do and get back into the workforce to further help your emotional state and financial too?
If I had this on, that's a good idea, ticket booth. I didn't think of that. I know that before I started using this, my core was so weak that I couldn't. When you saw me in my chair, I was always holding on wherever I was always, because I would flop to the side. Trying to balance yourself with this, because my neurosurgeon always looks at the films. He's not from the VA. And he was going through it with me. He told me, you're frying up core muscles you don't even realize to balance yourself. 8 months into it, I'm sitting up without holding on to it. To this day now, I can reach over and grab things. And it's an testament to using this.
Gene, I think an important measurement. What did it do to your use of medication?
Oh, well, high blood pressure was an issue with me. I would come off and on. And since I started using, they take your blood pressure every day. And consistently, it started regular, then it's still regular. I was into this for 60 sessions, so they had a good long time to monitor me. The diabetic is another thing. I was playing with Actos and metformins, off and on. That's absolute for me. And most important, when I tell you about the core, my core got stronger. I have hardware on my spine, so with a weak core, I always had back pains, and I was always on OxyContin and Percocets. I don't take OxyContins anymore. Percocets once in a while for break. I take more Percocets when I do adaptive sports than anything.
Well, I'm glad that you're not taking the hard painkillers for sure as much, and that you're off other medications. I'm somebody who's really not for medication personally, but I think this is it's just such a great story. Larry, does the insurance company pay for this?
Right now, we have some paying for it. Most importantly, in the United States, the VA in the Bronx, New York, set a policy to pay for this for veterans who come through their center.
Awesome.
And now also we are beginning to see private insurers. We have 4 in Germany and 1 in the United States that are providing this product for users, and we're providing the data. We are working very hard. So we've had a number of that. We've also had a number of people that have been very generous and give donations for people. So it's a mix right now, but they're starting to get out in the community.
Tell me about what goes into this. I know it's hard to see the back. There's a backpack. We've got, what do you call it? Bones, I guess, on his legs. And you've got this watch, and he's got the supports on the arms. Tell me, just walk me through this.
Okay, well, the most important thing, this is a human-machine interface. The device can't walk without Gene. Gene can't walk without the device. He tells it what to do. He controls it. He starts and stops when he wants. He can use it all day. This can work for 4 hours of constant walking if he wants to. So functionally, there are motors and gears on the side of each leg, which I believe you can see through here. There's a little tilt sensor device right here. So this device picks up the motion. So when you get out of a chair, you don't go straight up. You lean forward. Every time you take a step, you lean forward. When he does that, this motion sensor communicates with a computer in the backpack. The computer tells it what to do.
He could walk into a restaurant here in the Wynn, sit down, have a meal, get up and walk out?
Absolutely.
After he pays, of course.
Well, we were hoping you would pay for it.
Absolutely. For this guy, anything. That's really awesome. And it seems like simple. It's not, but that's what it's made up of. And now I saw you press the watch to take a step forward before. I actually felt bad making you take a step forward. But you literally, if you wanted to walk down the other end of the hall, you'd tell it you're walking and then you'd go. You wouldn't necessarily every step touch the watch.
No, yeah, one time, and keep going until I stop.
I love this. What's the future, Larry, for this stuff? Are we going to see this kind of stuff into prosthetics as well? Are we going to see it work for people who are paralyzed from the neck down? I mean, what is the future?
Well, the future, you know, if you look, the Wall Street Journal estimated this might be a $2 billion industry by the end of the decade. We're going to grow at a rapid rate. I don't know if it'll be that fast, but we'll see. Right now, this is for someone who's paralyzed from mid-body down. There is a quadriplegic version where we put on automated crutches. We think it can work for MS, multiple sclerosis.
My mother has MS.
And it could maybe defer some of those symptoms. We think it can help for stroke, ALS, and many other cerebral palsy. So this is a technology that we have to go out and do the clinical work on to prove those other indications. But the idea of using robotics to augment things that the human body does is something that is going to apply for many medical needs.
So my mother's had MS since 1989. She's probably had it before that. She was diagnosed in 1989, and she's deteriorated since then. What does somebody like my mother have to do to get in that study to be able to see if this would work well for them, so they can either get out of a wheelchair or prevent going into a wheelchair?
Well, for any individual patient, that's something that they really have to work with their individual doctor. We'll be beginning our clinical studies in the coming months, and either they could contact through us or contact through whoever they're working with their injury or disease to see if they would qualify. I can't give you all the inclusion criteria. We haven't worked that out with the FDA.
Yeah, no, I get it. But I'm, like if they go to their doctor is what they do, and they say, hey, ReWalk Robotics, like hook me up with them.
That would be the path for them to look at.
Call Larry.
Call Larry, and I want him to get a minute. It takes a few years to get the studies done, and you got to do them correctly. And right now, we've got the FDA clearance for what Gene is doing today, and that will be the future. You're going to see this for a lot of different needs.
I love that. I really, really love it. To see you standing here, to see you walking, I don't know. I mean, this is BeTerrific. All we do is positive news. I almost want to end the night now and say we're not doing any more interviews. They can't top this. This is Gene. Congratulations. I'm. It's very rare that I'm speechless. You can ask these guys, but and you can ask the viewers. But
Thank you.
Could you make a shorter one so he's not so tall?
No, I have shorter rewalkers. I can bring them for you. So.
I'm just teasing. I love it. And it's so cool looking, man.
My son didn't realize. He told me that. I didn't realize he was so tall when he saw me. It was like, wow.
Yeah, I bet.
The first thing he asked if I played basketball. No, never for organized teams. No. I was into baseball. I'm Hispanic. What do you expect?
What position did you play?
I'm left-handed, so I used to play outfield and first base.
And that would be right field?
Yeah. But in high school, they put you wherever.
Sure. You guys are out of Israel, is that correct?
The invention came out of Israel. Okay. We're basically based out of Boston now, and we have an office in Berlin, Germany as well. So we're pretty global at this stage, focused heavily on the commercialization in the United States, Europe, and now Asia.
Well, I can't thank you enough for joining us. I can't thank you enough for actually coming here to ShowStoppers. I know it was a journey for both of you guys to get here. And Gene, congratulations again. You're welcome on BeTerrific anytime. We'd love to have you, and we'd love to tell more of your story. And, whenever you need to get the word out, please, we want to help. That's the idea. This is important. People need to know. I don't care if there's somebody out there who's watching who can donate to get a pack on somebody, an exoskeleton. I don't care if it's somebody who can help do research. I don't care if it's somebody who knows somebody like my mother who has MS and says, hey, you need to be thinking about this or talking about this or doing this or talking to your doctor about it. Or if it's somebody like Gene here who doesn't know that this is available, or a family friend who, says to Gene, you got to check this out. So tremendous. Guys, thank you so much.
See you in New York.
You will see us in New York for sure. We're going to take a quick break, and by doing that, we're not going to fade to black. We're just going to turn the audio down, and we'll be back right after this with a whole lot more on BeTerrific here from ShowStoppers at the Wynn in Las Vegas, Nevada, live on our live continuing CES coverage for BeTerrific on planet5d.com and all over the world. Don't forget to download our app, and of course, you can do that at app.beterrific.com. We'll be back right after this.